8:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. CNN is reporting, Joan, any moment the House is going to take up the Senate version of Donald Trump's mega bill is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting is that Scott Desjardins is still in the air. So I guess what are they going to do? Start doing like the debate and all that and all the discussion, and then he'll join it in progress as people start to show up in Washington, D.C. because of all of the delays.
He'll be pushing everybody out of the way at the airport to jump in the very first taxi he can.
Sure.
To rush to the Capitol.
He'll be like doing an OJ through the airport.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing?
Mm-hmm. So did you, I don't know if you were around to hear the news, but so overnight they had to do the vote in the House Rules Committee.
Okay.
To be able to advance the bill in the first place. And the two congressmen that voted against it, Ralph Norman and Chip Roy.
Okay.
So they're going to be at least two people to watch out for as this vote comes to the floor.
Scott Desjardins, he seems to think that they're going to get there.
I think they will.
He didn't come out and say it, but if there's only two, I think they'll be okay.
Well, they were the only ones on the House Rules Committee.
Oh, the committee. Got it.
Right,
okay.
Right. So there's the wider vote of the whole House will be different.
Here's what Donald Trump says. And by the way, a really funny audio bite from Fox News last night is coming up. But Donald Trump has posted this. Nobody wants to talk about growth, which will be the primary reason that the big, beautiful bill will be one of the most successful pieces of legislation ever passed. This growth has already begun at levels never seen before. Trillions of dollars are now being invested into the USA more than ever before, and he's right. Likewise, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs are filling up the coffers of the Treasury. The tariff money has already arrived and is setting new records, the president says. We are growing our way out of the sleepy Joe Biden mess that he and the Democrats left us, and it is happening much faster than anyone thought possible. The president continuing, our country will make a fortune this year, more than any of our competitors, but only if the big, beautiful bill is passed, as they say. Trump has been right about everything, and this is the easiest of them all to predict. Republicans, don't let the radical left, the Democrats, push you around. We have got all the cards, he says, and we are going to use them. Last year, America was a dead nation with no hope for the future, and now it is the hottest nation in the world. Make America great again. So Trump posting, that he's, probably got Chip Roy on speed dial.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be interesting to watch.
So let's go back to Leah Thomas, also known as William Thomas.
Yes.
He went through testosterone suppression and hormone replacement therapy.
That's it?
But still has all of his manly parts.
Right. So Willie still has his Willie.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure that we cleared that.
You just wanted the opportunity for me to say the joke again. KGB backed me up on this. That's what she wanted. She wanted to set me up to say the joke again.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, How many puns have we done today? I'm honestly lost track.
Yeah.
That's got to be some sort of record for this show.
Funny Wednesday.
It has been a puntacular show.
Oh, boy.
God. Just.
Do you know what, Joan? We're going to have Stefano DiPietro on. If he wants to come on with a pun.
Oh, he'll hang up on you. You say a pun to him, you'll hear a click.
I can let him know.
You know what? Oh,
warn him.
No. Hold on. Time out.
Don't
Joan?
warn him?
No.
Okay.
We got to come up with a weather pun.
We did this last time he came on.
No, we didn't.
We had a weather joke for him. You don't remember that?
Did we, Joan? Did we do a weather joke?
You had one waiting in the wings.
It wasn't memorable.
Yeah,
I can tell you
but
that.
But I remember you waiting in the wings for it. Like, we were talking about it as he was coming up the stairs.
And how'd it go?
It did not go well.
No, hold on. If I remember right, he laughed. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, I did a joke.
The rest of us didn't. I think he laughed just out of being friendly.
Kind.
Yeah. You know, some people do that when you hear a joke and you're just like, oh, that's all right. It's gotta be. I'm not in my element.
People never do that to me.
Well.
All right, let's move right along. You know what? I won't do a weather pun. You know what? Okay, here's what I want to do.
Okay.
Super texters, send me your favorite weather pun. And I'll see if there's anyone worthy to mention to Stefano DiPietro, who is going to give us the official July 4th forecast coming up at 8:36 on Nashville's Morning News. Fox News apparently is running around asking a whole bunch of other conservative states if they can do what Florida is doing, of course, with the alligator Alcatraz. So apparently it looks like she had, Laura Ingraham had Stephen Miller on, and this is pretty funny. Let me play you this audio because they went off and they spoke to Alaska.
I want to go to every Republican state. Now, of course, in a sane country, Democrats would do it too, but they love the illegals. They hate the Americans. But we want every governor of a red state, and if you're watching tonight, pick up the phone, call DHS, work with us to build facilities in your state so that we can get the illegals out, we can get the criminals out. And also, very importantly, Laura, we need Congress to pass the big, beautiful bill which contains the funding that ICE desperately needs to carry out the mass deportation agenda.
Now, we reach out to other states, Stephen, and a lot of them are open to helping. Alaska told us that we don't have alligators, but we have lots of bears. However, they aren't aware of any plans for an Alaska version of bear. I said bear Alcatraz. So, Stephen, there's good news there.
All right, so that is, I think I would rather, if it's me, I think I would rather try to face the bears than the alligators. Because I think that, although I don't think I could outrun a bear, I think that there's fewer bears in Alaska than there's alligators in the Florida Everglades. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. 8:15, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes at 8:16, we are looking for weather through Sunday, highs in the mid-90s with some clouds. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, I was watching some of the footage from the big alligator Alcatraz tours that the president was giving yesterday, because he was actually giving tours. He was very excited to be there. He and Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem and so forth, they were very glad to be there. And Trump was so excited. He himself was actually giving guided tours. And you've got all of these people on the left. Can I find this? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Did you hear what Joy Reid had to say about these things? And I know that nobody really takes her seriously anymore. But Joy Reid said the most asinine thing. And, yep, here it is. Because, big shocker, it's trending. This is what Joy Reid said about the alligator Alcatraz. Listen.
I had to forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people, and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. Surprise, surprise, the economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people who, by the way, all over this country, Latinos are afraid to go to work. Anybody who is perceived or looks Latino is afraid to go to work.
You know what's weird? So she says that the Trump administration is simply rounding up brown people. Can I ask you a question? How many Hispanics live in Florida? How many Cubans live in Florida? I mean, there are millions of them that live in Florida. So if you just look at it from a common sense standpoint, what Joy Reid says is utterly ridiculous. Rounding them up and throwing them in concentration camps. And I got to tell you, and I did mention this last night on Red Eye, anybody who says that kind of thing, clearly anti-Semitic. And I don't know, do you believe... I don't know, Joan, do you believe that Joy Reid actually believes the stuff that she says, or is she just going for shock value?
You know, I think after a while, maybe at first she was going for shock value, but I think like after a while, she begins to live her own experience, her own reality. I think she really believes herself.
So no common sense whatsoever, no rational thought, because remember, she said that the Trump administration is rounding up brown people.
Yes.
There are a lot of black folks and a lot of brown folks and a lot of Hispanics and so forth that are in Florida. I've been there many times. So you would think at some point somebody, would get to Joy Reid and say, hey, remember that you might want to think before you speak. And when you say that they're going into concentration camps, a lot of those Jewish people that went into those concentration camps, they never made it out alive. And so she just, again, I realize that she's just completely and irrevocably stupid. I mean, I think that she truly is. But I think that she's actually got a mental illness. Like, I really do. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not any of that stuff. But I think that anybody who says those kinds of things, and she says them so often, it's like every single day, that she needs some therapy. She needs some sort of psychotropic drug or something, because she says these things and she's so delusional and so hateful about the whole thing. And I just wish that somebody with a bigger microphone than but I wish somebody would call her out and say, that really is anti-Semitic. It is. I mean, I don't think anybody will, because I think the mainstream media, I think they probably feel the same way, and they're all sort of delusional together, but whatever. Now, speaking of the alligator Alcatraz, there was air conditioning. There were bathroom facilities. And from what I can tell, it looks pretty good. Far better than, number one, where a lot of these guys are from. But number two, a lot of these dudes should actually be in a maximum security prison. Now, CNN came to the press conference, and Kristi Noem was talking about the media coverage of the alligator Alcatraz. This is what Kristi Noem had to say.
By thanking our ICE officers and our Border Patrol officers for what they do every day. They are out on the streets, and violence against them has increased over 500% since Trump has gone back into the White House, because he's upholding the law and because a bunch of liberals, socialists, and Marxists are out there lying about what President Trump is doing. President Trump is upholding freedom by what he is doing. The freedom to live safely in this country and to do things legally and to have justice. And because those liberals, and I'm calling out you, CNN, I'm calling you out because you lie every single day about what these operations are. We are going after murderers and rapists and traffickers and drug dealers and getting them off the streets and getting them out of this country, because Joe Biden let the worst of the worst come in here.
I mean, that is true. And we also have media coverage that is clearly biased. You see the occasional stories where they're targeting what some would call an innocent family, right? An innocent family was deported today, or whatever it is. I warned you that would happen. I did. I warned you that would happen. But there's almost always more to the story. Now, again, remember, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I know, I'm tired of hearing about this guy too. But remember what the media did, including CNN. They said, oh, this Maryland man. Well, the story is still ongoing. But the guy that the media wanted to simply describe as a Maryland man, it turns out he's a wife beater. He's a gang member. He's an alleged human trafficker. And it's possible that he was involved in some murders as well. So this Maryland man turned out to be a lot worse than just some, here's another one, Maryland father. And the media does this time and time and time again. Then there was this moment.
The other day I was talking to some marshals that have been partnering with ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home. And while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country. because they are so deranged they don't belong here.
Wow.
And they shouldn't be walking the streets with our children.
The guy started eating himself. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Did we do this on the air, Joan, or off? Talking about the cannibal.
I don't think we've done it on the air yet this morning.
We have not done it on the air?
We talked a little bit about it.
So I'm just trying to figure out. So, like, does he start with the fingers and work his way up, or how does that work? Like,
Well-
I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm curious.
But you don't get a whole lot of meat around the fingers, so you would go for like the belly area.
Yeah, it's
like,
like bony. You go after the meaty part of your arm. If he's eating himself, he's probably going after the bicep or the forearm to start because that's where the meatiest part of your body is. Fingers is just bone. Why would you eat? No, there's nothing to eat there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So you go for the fleshy part of the arm.
You go with the most biteable areas.
Okay.
It sounds so wrong for saying that, but it's like factual. If I was a cannibal, I wouldn't go after like I think about it like chicken. You don't just go for the skinniest little drum.
Mm-hmm.
You go for a meaty thigh or at least a big drum with a lot of fat to it.
Okay. Well, now if you eat yourself, are you still considered a cannibal, or is there like another word for that?
Yeah, crazy.
Thank you, Joan. Hey, speaking of crazy. Our own version of Joy Reid here in Nashville, Heidi Campbell, apparently called Alligator Alcatraz a concentration camp.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. She said it on X. Senator Heidi Campbell, so our concentration camps have alligators. It's just evil, full stop. I wish she would full stop. Heidi Campbell.
I wish I had a rim shot ready for this whole day.
I know.
Because I would be hitting it like crazy.
Why? I thought that was good.
No, it was
Heidi
good.
Campbell.
But like every segment has had a punt, so I needed a rim shot.
You know, somebody should run against Heidi Campbell, and it should be, their slogan should be Heidi Campbell, full stop. I think that'd be fun. Anyway, 825, Stefano DiPietro. By the way, I'm not on the super text line right now. Are people sending in weather puns so that we can find out? And when we talk to Stefano DiPietro,
they're asking you to stop.
yeah.
They're not shouting as puns. They're asking you to stop.
Damn man, just full stop. Whatever. I think that I'm just ahead of my time. I think that's what it is. All right, 836, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And we are right on the cusp of the holiday weekend, on the 4th of July weekend. And we all want to know how our fireworks are going to appear in the sky. So we brought along Stefano DiPietro from Channel 4 to let us know what we can expect weather-wise. Hiya, Stefano. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
You know why we always invite you on?
Why is that?
Because you reign supreme in weather reports.
How long have you had that one ready?
I have been holding on to that one all morning, Stefano. See,
Well, I love it.
Thank you, because sometimes it's the delivery, Dan.
So
what a shot
So
there.
Stefano, just so I don't know if you know this, but we've been playing around with whether or not to hit you with a weather pun this morning, and so I made it Joan's job to find the weather pun and throw it down, and we actually did this whole thing where we were like, okay, don't hit a rim shot. Don't hit crickets. we want to know if Stefano is actually going to guffaw at her weather pun. And you did that. Congratulations, Stefano. That actually sounded genuine, that you thought that she was funny. That's really cool.
I love a good weather pun. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to.
All right, very good. All right, now, the official July 4th forecast. I've got a lot of questions. So, number one, what is the visibility going to look like on the 4th of July, right around fireworks time, which I should also ask, what time is sunset?
So fireworks time, it looks great. I mean, we could not ask for better weather in Nashville. Sunset should be around 8 o'clock, maybe just after that.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks clear. It looks really nice. There might be just a couple of clouds in there. It's not going to be terribly humid, too, like it's been the last couple of nights. You know how just terrible it is to sit outside when that sticky, steamy air. It's not really going to be like that, and temperatures should start to fall back into the 80s. I mean, you can't really complain. There's not a weather problem we have to worry about for 4th of July night.
And if we're going out to watch fireworks, and maybe if you're going to downtown or what have you, how hot is it going to be, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock? Should people wear a sweater? We know you like to tell people how to dress. So how should people dress for the 4th of July?
It's what I do every morning, is so people can just take one more thing off their plate to start off their day.
That's
but
right.
I think no sweatshirt whatsoever. I mean, by 10 o'clock, it's only just going to fall near 80. So it should be by 6 o'clock still near 90, and then through the fireworks show, just slowly fall its way back through the 80s. So it's going to be warm, but I think it'll be very comfortable.
That sounds very pleasant.
Stefano,
listen, after all the weekends we've had with rain, it's good to finally know that this weekend is the one that we don't have to worry about it.
So we have had this stretch of this wet weather, and it's been wonderful for the garden. But I just looked at the app last night, at the weather app last night, and it says that we are just going to enter this stretch of no rain at all. Are you seeing that too? Is that what our forecast looks like for the next week and a half?
Oh yeah, I mean it looks great. We may end up tossing in an isolated shower into the mix here, and sometimes that just happens with regular daytime heating, with any just kind of summer day that we end up getting. But I really don't see anything organized coming through that says, hey, we're going to get, some crazy showers and thunderstorms and your days are going to get washed out. I think we're going through a little bit of a dry cycle now. By the time we get to the second half of next week and maybe into the following week, it'll start to get a little bit wet again. But for the next 7 days, I don't see much more than maybe something very isolated late Sunday or into Monday and Tuesday.
Now, Stefano, we are a 100,000 watt FM radio blowtorch. So basically, if you're in Tennessee, you can hear us. So what about dryness? Do people have to worry about if they're lighting off their own fireworks on their property? Has there been enough rain to ward off possible fires if you're lighting off your own fireworks?
You know what? That's a great question. I think that we're in the clear for that. I don't think that it's much of an issue because the ground is so saturated. There really hasn't been, despite the heat, we've had enough showers and thunderstorms, and it's not going to be terribly hot enough over the next couple of days to really dry things out. So I don't think it's necessary. As we probably get closer to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because, people fire these things off all weekend long, we'll keep an eye on that. I really don't see it being a problem. Of course, you still want to make sure that when you're shooting off fireworks, you're doing it on, not directly from the grass. If you can lay down a piece of plywood or just something for a flat level surface, that's always better. But I don't really think it's a concern for us. I don't think anywhere through the state of Tennessee is even in a drought or close to it.
All right, so let me ask you, Stefano Di Pietro, what are you guys doing in your home for the 4th of July?
So 4th of July, I'll be here at the station until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'll do the morning and midday shows, and then we will go sit by a pool, bring some drinks, and then probably go see the fireworks, but where my the company that my wife operates, they have a lot of buildings that are near downtown. So normally what we do instead of going downtown is we go to their rooftop balconies and watch from there.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, that's pretty
cool.
That's
nice because we avoid all the downtown traffic, which is it's wonderful.
So you'll be giving us the address after the show.
And then we'll see you there.
We'll see you there.
Yes, I will send you the secret text message.
Somehow I think that he's going to send us to Siberia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I would if I were him.
I don't think I would do that to you guys. You're too nice.
All right, so I want to know what your favorite firework is. Are you like a fountain guy? Are you a sparklers guy? Do you like the rockets? Do you like the things that blow up in the air? Do you like the little snakes that I used to love as a kid?
Oh my goodness, I always love a good sparkler. I've always loved bottle rockets. I always love, anything that shoots up in the air. When I was actually younger, we used to shoot off our own fireworks in Sea Isle, New Jersey. Instead of them having their own fireworks show, we used to go to the beach, and everybody used to go to the beach and shoot off their own fireworks into the ocean. And that was our fireworks show when we were kids. We didn't really, go anywhere for them. You just went a couple blocks down to the beach, and it was just everybody separated and spaced out enough and just shot their fireworks off into the beach. And then, of course, as these things always happen. Somebody ruined it for everybody, and they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But that was always a really awesome part of my childhood.
So, you know what? Then that means that I was in Ocean City looking down the beach going, who are those nutballs with all the fireworks down there?
Yeah, that would be my father.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right, so one last question, because I always worry about smoke, that when you're lighting out the fireworks, sometimes there's smoke. And is there any wind that's going to be, like down near the ground so that the wind is going to send the smoke, over to the adults who get complaining about that kind of thing?
No, wind should be pretty light all weekend. So, Friday night, the wind should dip down to maybe 5 miles per hour at most. So I don't think the wind is going to be a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is probably the perfect 4th of July forecast that we could have ever asked for.
Hey, what about your dogs? Do they get scared when they hear the fireworks?
Nope, not at all. Believe it or not, they do not even notice them. We actually, where we originally lived, we had neighbors that would, shoot some off in the street, and they never actually flinched to them and actually would sit out on the patio and watch them with us. They don't get scared. They just hang out.
My dog pees and poops all over the floor.
Oh, that's terrible. You got to get one of those. What are they?
Jackets.
They're like the thunder jackets. Yeah, the vest.
We Stefano, we have tried everything with my dog, and he just, if it's thunder, if it is fireworks or gunshots, that dog just loses all controls of his bowel. There you go.
You try anything like Benadryl or anything like that?
We actually, we have actually got it down to a science now where we'll listen to your weather forecast and then we do the back timing and we drug them up. And when we have all of those, when we've had all of those storms like right in a row, I mean, that poor dog is like drugged for days.
They're just waiting for him to go deaf, and then he won't be a problem.
He used to, my dog used to love cheese, but because we keep drugging him, he won't eat it anymore because he doesn't trust us.
Because he knows. It's so funny.
He already knows. Oh, he's like, oh man, that orange stuff. I know what happens after that. All right.
Oh my goodness! I have to put that in my forecast now. When to drug your dog before the thunderstorm?
Yes, you should do that. All right. Well, Stefano, you're
hold on. I have to wrap it up. You ready?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Stefano, is it fair to say that there'll be plenty of sunshine throughout Middle Tennessee for the holiday? Yes.
Oh yes, it's very fair to say.
All right, Stefano, you're a good egg.
You didn't need to laugh at that one. You didn't need to.
You hear what I did?
That one I gave her a little bit more of a laugh on.
Yeah. I had a gut in my gut. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a playful. I'm your friend. Don't worry, laugh.
Yeah. All right. Well, Stefano, thank you.
Stefano.
Thank you very much for being a good sport.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
See, I liked my "you're a good egg" joke. It was like a sort of like a inside joke for us. I don't think he got it.
Right.
But
Joan, you have no idea how badly I wanted to play the crickets. How I was like, you know what? Dan said not to say anything. I have to respect that.
Well, I wanted to make sure that we could hear at the very least.
That was a pity laugh, though.
The second one, was a pity laugh.
Yeah. The first one was genuine. Second one was pity.
Second one was definitely pity.
So
first
one for one
was genuine.
1 for 1. Joan,
there you go.
1 for 1.
1 for 1.
I was happy with them. The responses to my performance.
Yeah, people giving you thumbs up. By the way, apparently
Stefano gave me thumbs up, and that was enough for me.
This is what I like about the super text line, Joan.
Yeah.
According to the super text line, both you and I have crushes on Stefano DiPietro.
Oh well.
Now I can tell you that is not true in my case, and I'm assuming I'll let you defend yourself there, Joan, but I'm pretty sure that's a no for you too.
I respect the guy.
Oh, I respect the heck out of him.
And he's cute.
That too. Listen, he's got great hair. He does. He's got like Anchorman
You both
hair.
are not doing yourself any favors right now.
Didn't
we don't have a crush on him. Great hair, though. His hair.
No, he's got Anchorman hair like Brian Wilson. Brian's got the great Anchorman hair too, So somehow, all the Anchormen always have great hair. Do you know what I wonder?
What do you wonder?
I wonder, Well, you used to work no, you never worked in television, did you, Joan?
Nope.
So what comes first, like the hair or becoming an anchorman? And then they just automatically have great hair? Because I don't know if I've ever seen an anchorman that is bald like me. Well, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I think they actually, if they start to lose their hair, I mean, somebody can correct me on this if they want, but I think that they, do the extraordinary measures to make sure that their hair stays. The plugs.
Oh, there's wigs. There's wigs in that. Yeah. I've seen some anchors with wigs.
You know what? Matt Lauer, before his incredible demise, he shaved his whole head off. And I thought, to be honest, he looked a lot better.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's all I got.
Okay.
8:50, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Let's see, 1978 says, good job, Joan. He is cute, though.
He is. Right?
Okay.
Nice blue eyes.
Okay.
He's cute.
Well, is there ever anybody that's... Okay, can I ask this question?
Yeah.
Is there ever anybody ugly on TV?
There's a couple.
See, I let my feelings get in the way. So when I see somebody, even if they're good looking, but they're stupid.
Wait, Joy Reid is not attractive in the slightest.
Okay. Bingo.
There was no her head shape was weird.
I'm talking about, yes, but I'm talking about news anchors and stuff.
Well, what was she not an anchor? I guess she was.
No, she's a talk show host and a bad one at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brian Johnson is AC/DC. Brian Johnson is AC/DC.
Yeah.
Brian Wilson from WTN is coming up next at 9 o'clock here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Joan Jones has the news, and she's coming up at 9 here on WTN. Joan, what do we got coming up?